Right now on Fox 43 Featured, Paul Miller's law is now in effect in Pennsylvania in an effort to prevent distracted driving. What this changes for you the next time you get behind the wheel. People across the state are worried about proposed cuts to Medicaid, the requirements that could cause thousands of Pennsylvanians to lose coverage. And rising energy costs. Pennsylvanians can expect their electric bills to go up starting this month, why prices are rising and tips from experts to save a few bucks. Thanks for joining us for Fox 43 Featured. I'm Sedona Meadows. For the next half hour, we'll be rehashing some of the top stories of the week, starting with Paul Miller's law, which has officially taken effect across Pennsylvania. The law bans handheld use of a cell phone while driving, even when stopped at a red light or in traffic. Fox 43's Robert Stover shares why some people are calling it a milestone for change.
Paul Miller was 21 years old when he was killed by a distracted driver in a car crash in Monroe County. It's a tragedy Jody Bales knows all too well.
It was February 6th of 2016 was when Alicia was killed. She was in fact killed by a woman that was later found guilty of texting and driving.
Nearly 8 months later, Bales and Paul Miller's mother, Eileen, met at a symposium for distracted driving and have advocated together ever since.
You know, when Eileen and us mothers that have been impacted speak, we talk about hands on the wheel, eyes on the road, mind on the drive. So with that cell phone out of their hand, the most important thing is they've got their hands on the wheel.
Paul Miller's law makes it illegal to use any handheld device while operating a vehicle in Pennsylvania.
And another thing people have to keep in mind that it's not, the law states it's just not while driving. If you're stopped at a stoplight, stopped at a stop sign, you still have to be hands-free.
Drivers will be pulled over if they show any signs of distracted driving. From now until next June, those who are caught using a device will receive a written warning. After that, they will have to pay a $50 fine. Although Bales believes the law is a step in the right direction to decrease the number of distracted driving cases, she says it'll take people changing their behavior behind the wheel to truly make a difference.
We've got to get out there. We've got to keep speaking. We've got to remind them. We've got to share our sorrow, the impact that it had on our families. And, you know, sadly, a grief that a heartbreak that we will take to our grave.
Robert Stover, Fox 43 News.
Governor Shapiro announced a lawsuit against the U.S. Department of Agriculture for the termination of a program that supports farms and food banks across Pennsylvania. The suit says the USDA's millions of dollars in cuts to the local food purchasing assistance program are unlawful, and that the agency ignored the state's efforts to negotiate. The governor announced the action this week at a news conference in Philadelphia.
As it ripped away critical funding from 189 farms across Pennsylvania, made it harder to feed hungry people here in southeastern Pennsylvania and across our Commonwealth.
The local food purchasing program subsidizes farms who supply fresh food to different food banks across Pennsylvania. The Shapiro administration says more than 4 million Pennsylvanians will be affected by the loss of funding. A rally took place in Harrisburg this week to protect Medicaid coverage for Pennsylvanians after President Trump's big, beautiful bill passed through the House last week. Fox 43's Matt Kleinens has more on how families spoke out against proposed cuts to the program.
Advocates are taking a stand to protect Medicaid for Pennsylvanians.
Medicaid is promises that are made and promises that must be kept.
People gathered at the Capitol building to rally in support of Medicaid following the passage of President Trump's big, beautiful bill through the House of Representatives. The bill would add work requirements for Medicaid benefits, which Governor Shapiro warns could cause 300,000 Pennsylvanians to lose their coverage. Suzanne Folletto worries that the cuts would affect her daughter Nicolette, who relies on Medicaid for disability services.
I would lose the ability to be independent and go to college and work.
It would be sad to see, because she's a very, very capable individual who's worked so hard and poured so much of herself into getting to this level.
Dr. Tony Richards-Raleigh with the American Academy of Pediatrics warns that thousands of children could lose access to their primary care doctors through this bill, which could result in more hospitalizations.
So they get more expensive care, and clog up the emergency department for simple things like ear infections that they could have gone to their primary care pediatrician for.
Last week, Republican Congressman Scott Perry defended his support for the big, beautiful bill, saying that Medicaid will continue to grow under the current proposal while cutting down on wasteful spending.
So we have to address that to make sure that we're making the changes that we need to make, but that they're also livable and workable for the people that they affect.
As the big, beautiful bill makes its way to the Senate, families are calling on lawmakers to protect the services they rely on the most.
It will greatly affect myself, but also for others.
According to the nonprofit Visions for Equality, the proposed federal cuts could also result in 42,000 healthcare workers to lose their jobs in Pennsylvania. In Harrisburg, Matt Kleindens, Fox 43 News.
Democratic state lawmakers gathered at the Capitol to reintroduce legislation they say is aimed at guaranteeing equality for LGBTQ community members. State Representatives Malcolm Kenyatta and Jessica Benham marked the start of June's Pride Month by reintroducing the PA Fairness Act. The legislation would prohibit discrimination based on sex, sexual orientation, or gender identity. Previous legislation passed the State House last month, however, failed in a Senate committee.
We are in a world where discrimination is very real for our community. It has a very direct impact on our mental and physical well-being. And that is why the Fairness Act is so incredibly necessary.
As of now, it's still legal for Pennsylvanians to be denied housing, education, or access to public accommodation based on their sexual orientation or gender identity. The newly reintroduced bill is currently in the House Judiciary Committee. Well, with Juneteenth coming up on Thursday, June 19th, there are plenty of celebrations happening here in Central PA. In Harrisburg, the first ever Juneteenth parade will take place on June 14th at 12 p.m. around the Capitol complex. In Lancaster County, officials there will be hosting a Juneteenth block party on June 19th from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m., including a flag raising at 11 a.m. at Lancaster City Hall. And in Gettysburg, Lincoln Cemetery will be hosting a series of tours of the only surviving Black cemetery in the area, all day on Juneteenth. Now we have the full schedule of events for Juneteenth on our website, fox43.com. Starting this month, Pennsylvanians could see an increase in their energy bill. Fox 43 Cindy Nauman shares what's driving the increase and how you can beat the heat this summer while avoiding bill spikes.
With just the flick of a switch, this summer Pennsylvanians could see a spike in their energy bills. The increase, which began June 1st, is in response to a rise in wholesale energy costs, or how much money it takes to produce power. A cost which a First Energy spokesperson says doesn't come from the business on your bill.
The rate that's increasing is the supply rate. So we don't own power plants. We don't generate electricity. We are not a power supplier. We pass that cost on to our customers without collecting profit on that.
The Pennsylvania Public Utility Commission regulates utility services in the state and reports there will be an increase across nearly every utility, with typical increases ranging from 5% to 12% among major electricity utilities statewide. For Met Ed customers, Honig says it's roughly an additional $6.50 per month. And while the increase may be unavoidable, there are ways to beat the heat without breaking the bank.
So we do have assistance programs for those who qualify based on income. We also have budget billing, an equal payment plan, where we'll take your total electric charges over the course of a year, divide them up by 12 to find your average amount, and that's what you'll pay monthly to avoid those spikes in the summer that you may see with the increased use of air conditioning and pool pumps.
Air conditioners are one of the biggest energy expenses during the summer, and ceiling fans cool rooms without cranking your AC. But
turn them off when you leave, because fans cool people, not rooms.
Keeping windows sealed and blinds closed on hot days can keep excess heat out of the home. As for your thermostat, raising temperatures while you're away can keep your air conditioner from running unnecessarily. Just be sure not to crank the cold air when you get back. It won't cool your home down any faster, but your bill will skyrocket in seconds. Sydney Nauman, Fox 43 News.
A new treatment claims to tighten skin without going under the knife. We'll take a look at whether it could be the future of cosmetic surgery after the break. being called a game changer in the world of cosmetic procedures. It's a way to lift, tighten, and tone without the scars or long recovery time of traditional surgery. In this week's Health Smart Report, Fox 43's Amy Lutz looks into the therapy and talks with a York County man who just received the treatment to see if it really works.
Imagine looking like this one day and this just a few weeks later. Whether it's saggy skin after weight loss or the normal effects of aging, more people are looking to firm and tone their bodies without having to go under the knife.
As one ages, their skin becomes thinner and thinner, and that's why the skin gets loose.
Enter Renuvion, a body contouring technology that teaches the skin how to make more collagen. It combines helium gas and short bursts of energy to heat and contract tissue under the skin, offering a tightening effect plastic surgeon Dr. Paul Kim says can be seen almost instantly and even improves over time.
This is something that we have been waiting for a very, very long time.
The procedure has been FDA approved to treat areas like the neck, arms, abdomen, and thighs.
No more incisions. It's literally done through a pinhole. It can be done in the office while the patient's awake. They just get up and go home.
Mark Gakel of York County was one of those patients.
And I looked in the mirror one day and I'm going like, I don't feel like I look like that.
The 60-year-old nurse says working through the pandemic took a toll on his body. So after decades of prioritizing other people's health, he felt it was finally his turn.
This was actually just doing some like Google searching and going like, how to improve or feel more confident in your skin and stuff like that. And I happened on the Renuvion website.
That's when he found out about the company's Renewing Lives campaign, a nationwide initiative that provides free Renuvion treatments to deserving individuals, aiming to improve their physical appearance and mental well-being. Insecure about his jowls and neck, Mark applied and was selected.
You're finally doing something for yourself, which, everybody says, you got to take care of yourself before you can take care of others. And honestly, I'm just ecstatic that they picked me. I never thought they would.
To engage with the tissue.
Dr. Kim performed the procedure on Mark's neck April 30th.
And I was awake during the whole thing. All they do is numb you. And then the very next day, I went back to work.
As expected, Mark is still healing.
There is some swelling still, and they're saying it's going to take about 3 months for all the healing process and the collagen to kick in. I'm seeing the change, and that change is actually bringing great confidence.
Confidence he wants to help him tackle this next phase of life.
For more information on Renuvion or the Renewing Lives campaign, I've put a link on our website, fox43.com. With your Health Smart Report, Amy Lutz, Fox 43 News.
CVS has unveiled a new pharmacy health care center combination in Lower Paxton Township, Dauphin County. The newly opened facility on Jonestown Road is a full-service pharmacy, and it also features an Oak Street Health Clinic with basic primary care services. That also includes behavioral health, social support, and Medicare education programs. It's the first of its kind location in Dauphin County and only one of 3 in Pennsylvania. Well, the highly anticipated release of the new Nintendo Switch 2 is sending fans to stores worldwide, including here in Central PA. What customers had to say about the rush. Nintendo fans and gamers are rushing to stores across the country in hopes of getting their hands on the new Switch 2. Fox 43's Kyle Ennis caught up with customers and fans in Lancaster County who were out early on Thursday for the highly anticipated release.
Gamers are cashing in on the Nintendo Switch 2. The console officially released on Thursday at midnight with a price tag of $450. That did not stop the lines of people ready to pick up their pre-orders or snag the last consoles available for purchase. One longtime fan from Lancaster says he fell in love with gaming at a young age.
I've been a fan of Nintendo from day one. I started playing the NES, the original Nintendo, when I was 5, not knowing that I was going to play video games every day for the rest of my life.
Roller coaster tariffs at the time of Nintendo's April presentation of the console initially sparked fears the company may have to delay the launch. However, pre-orders were only delayed by a few weeks, so the company could assess the impact. The first generation came out in March of 2017, and
after nearly a decade of waiting, gamers are excited to finally
get their hands on the Switch 2.
I have the first Switch. I actually have multiple ones, but I've had the first Switch since actually the release of that one back in 2017. I was there for the day it came out as well for that one.
Because of the anticipation and dedication of fans like Aaron Demharder who have waited so long, stores like the Just Press Play Megastore in East Lampeter Township are having a hard time keeping them on the shelves.
They have more online availability with like game chat and stuff like that, which I think is a big part, which helps just make more fun for everyone, especially online and in person.
The draw for many gamers, store manager of Just Press Play Zachary Sun says, is the console's portability and convenience.
Easy to access, you can take it on a plane, you can take it anywhere you want to go, and it's such a more powerful console. And I think the games are going to be fantastic.
Sun explains that getting the consoles in large quantities to compete with the high demand is challenging.
It's very tough getting allocated the right amount for our clientele. We are constantly fighting. We're the little guys, big box stores like Best Buy and Walmart, they can get, thousands of them. We're getting like a handful at a time.
Kaya Lennis, Fox 43 News.
June is National Rose Month. To celebrate, Hershey Gardens welcomes you to stop and smell the thousands of its blooming roses. Right now, 3,000 roses are in bloom, showcasing 115 varieties of the plant. And throughout this month, the garden is offering free admission to anyone with rose in their first, middle, or last name. Staff at Hershey Gardens say they love this time of year as the temperatures are nice and the flowers are vibrant.
I love watching the families come in. I have little kids of my own, so watching little kids come in and enjoy the garden, running around, finding their favorite flowers, finding secret hiding places, that is just, it warms my mom heart, but also warms my horticulture heart.
Hershey Gardens is hosting all sorts of events throughout the month of June. For more information, head over to fox43.com.
It's really special. I mean, I don't care too much what I get as a bowling score, but I like to be with friends. It's great to bowl with these people.
A Lebanon County bowler is celebrating 100 laps around the sun. How his teammates made sure the celebration didn't wind up in the gutter. The National Football League is trending. Philadelphia Eagles running back Saquon Barkley will be on the cover of Madden NFL 26. The video game cover is a picture of Barkley hurdling over a Jacksonville Jaguars player from a game in 2024. The former Penn State star gets this honor after his historic 2024 season, which included a Super Bowl win and Offensive Player of the Year award. Barkley also joined the Madden 99 Club, the ranking for players in the video game. Well, golf industry leaders gathered at the state capitol this week for Pennsylvania's first ever Golf Day on Tuesday. Members of the Pennsylvania Alliance for Golf, a collective of more than 700 golf courses and related businesses from across the Commonwealth, talked about the golf industry's impact on Pennsylvania's economy and environment. The USGA is hosting the U.S. Open tournament in suburban Pittsburgh and had the trophy on display. The group is giving back to communities in the state as part of the tournament.
We will be investing $1 million specifically to public golf courses and parks that provide recreation and green spaces to its communities.
The USGA also works with Penn State University to develop more sustainable turf grasses. Well, 100 years old and still bowling strong, a Lebanon County man hit the big milestone this week. Fox 43's Ryan Yee introduced us to the man and his special bowling journey that includes no shortage of strikes.
Palmyra bowler Ben Bream is proving that age is just a number. Bream is celebrating his 100th birthday on Monday and still scores big on the bowling lane.
It's amazing. I think by Monday it's really going to hit me.
Every Friday for more than 25 years, Bream has competed in the Palmyra Bowling Senior League. This week was special, and his league mates knew it.
Happy birthday to you.
It was a 100th birthday celebration that reflects exactly why Bream continues to lace up his shoes. Decades of bowling that has always been about who he's playing with rather than how he plays.
It's really special. I mean, I don't care too much what I get as a bowling score, but I like to be with friends. It's great to bowl with these people.
But don't be fooled. The new centenarian still has it. His team, the Roadrunners, have won back-to-back seasons and currently lead a third. His league mates are still in awe.
It is incredible to see a man or anyone who is 100 years old or even in their high 90s being able to go down the steps, make the approach, and throw a ball. And sometimes he does get strikes.
It's hard to believe. It's hard to believe, really, but he's in good shape, so there's no reason for him to quit right now.
A sentiment that the now 100-year-old bowler agrees with. Breen has no plans of stopping.
I love bowling. Every Friday I look forward to it, coming down here and be with all the people.
Ryan Yee, Fox 43.
State police provided a helping hand to an injured otter found in Franklin County. PSP Chambersburg posted these pictures to social media recently, saying troopers found the otter in distress due to its injuries. The troopers helped to get the animal to the Game Commission, and the state game warden took the otter to a wildlife rehabilitation facility. Well, that's it for Fox 43 Featured. Thanks for spending part of your day with us. Have a great day.